Tajichi. All you think about is sex, and much more sex. As soon as you wake up, it must be sex, more sex, and much more sex. That is why you make up to attract sex, more sex, and much more sex. In safety or danger, you will have sex, more sex, and much more sex. Even with a stranger, you will have sex, more sex, and much more sex. Darkness or broad daylight, you worship sex, more sex, and much more sex. Within or outside, you just want sex, more sex, and much more sex. That is all you think of, how to have sex, more sex, and much more sex. For you never enough, so long it's sex, more sex, and much more sex. The reason that you live is to have sex, more sex, and much more sex. That is all you can give, explosive sex, more sex, and much more sex. Nothing else to offer, better love sex, more sex, and much more sex. No solution preferred to have sex, more sex, and much more sex. That is how you fit me with hot raw sex, more sex, and much more sex. You mind if you bleed me with your rough sex, more sex, and much more sex. Whenever you visit, it must be sex, more sex, and much more sex. Even if in a pit, we should have sex, more sex, and much more sex. Do you mean to free me with enough sex, more sex, and much more sex? Or you want to kill me with enough sex, more sex, and much more sex? Morning, noon, and evening, all you want sex, more sex, and much more sex. With the all things happening, you still love sex, more sex, and much more sex. Willing or unwilling, it must be sex, more sex, and much more sex. Draining all fulfilling, you just want sex, more sex, and much more sex. With or no protection, just to have sex, more sex, and much more sex. You won't take correction for no wrong sex, just sex, and much more sex. Even not in the mood, I should have sex, more sex, and much more sex. Are you evil or good that you want sex, more sex, and much more sex? That a curse or blessing that you love sex, more sex, and much more sex? This your lost possessing that you just want sex, more sex, and much more sex? Smelling fresh or stinking, we should have sex, more sex, and much more sex? Not floating bed sinking in floods of sex, more sex, and much more sex? Is that all in dating, just to have sex, more sex, and much more sex? Loving me or hating, to drown in sex, more sex, and much more sex? Hardworking or lazy, that you want sex, more sex, and much more sex? Normal care or crazy, that you want sex, more sex, and much more sex? Should I hold or let go, that you want sex, more sex, and much more sex? Since your needs no, that is yes sex, more sex, and much more sex?